They're waiting.
Hello.
Hello, everybody coming in. Welcome to the Red Hawk Days, the panel on getting involved in campus.
Yeah.
I love seeing all the names coming in, names I recognize.
This is so great.
Yeah. Hannah Brockman, you should get an award for being in all these sessions, I think. Dear Lord. I think we got a girl, Carissa Weiss, I think it is, that just enrolled today.
Yay!
Nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Students, as you're coming in, you probably realize you're on mute. That is just so we can kind of have some control over the noise and things here. But welcome to this session. I'm just going to kind of make some announcements here, then we'll start in just a minute or so. But as you're joining, I am Jill Cardinal. I'm one of the campus admission counselors and the campus event coordinator. And we are getting ready for the Get Involved on Campus session today for Red Hawk Days. Welcome to everybody. I'm real glad you guys are enjoying joining this today to hear more from our fabulous staff members.
Yeah, we don't know if they're going to enjoy it yet.
Yeah. Don't jump the gun too soon.
How can it be bad? It's talking about fun stuff. So
that's right.
Right. Yeah, we're just going to wait get a few more callers in. And we'll start here in a few. As it is 4, I'll make a couple announcements here that, again, you are all muted. You may use the Q&A at the bottom of your screen at any time to either post a question or a comment. Feel free to do that. I will monitor those as we go through the panel. Later, we will also have a few prizes, so pay attention. Sarah and Maddie both have prizes today, and we'll tell you how to do that when we get to that point. And let's see, I think since it is 4, I've got 4:01. So I think with that, again, a welcome to everybody on the call today. I'm Jill Cardinal, Campus Event Coordinator. I'm joined with 2 of my coworkers from campus today. They'll introduce themselves in a second. Again, this is Red Hawk Days. I'm not sure what session number, we've had many of these, but this is Students' Life and Activities on Campus. So with that, Sarah, I'll start with you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Van Steenbergen. I'm the Director of Student Activities and Orientation at the college, and I am actually an alum of the institution class of 2012.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maddie Coster. I am the Building Manager at the WILLMORE Center and our Campus Recreation Coordinator, and I am an alum of 2017.
Woo, go Red Hawk. So we have a quick PowerPoint slide here just to walk you through some of the different involvement opportunities we've got going on campus. As you can see, it's me and Maddie walking through these opportunities for you. Just to give you an overview, we're going to talk a little bit about student organizations and student government. We're going to talk about Greek life. Maddie's going to take over and talk about the WILLMORE Center and our campus recreation program. And then it's going to jump back to me to do a quick overview of our community service program and then talk a little bit about break transportation that's provided through student activities. And then there will be time for questions at the end. Conveniently, the college had made an introduction video to all things student activities and orientation. And so I'm going to have you sit back and watch that for a quick couple of minutes.
Who is that? Not hearing it, Sarah.
Oh, no, really?
Nope.
Oh, no.
You look good, though.
Oh, I miss my hair so much. I don't know that I know how to solve that, actually. Well, this is what happens when we try technology and technology.
Right.
I turn it up real good.
Not working very well.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to have
Move on.
Google 5 W's of student activities or just search for it in YouTube. That's the first video that pops up. You can watch me talk about all these things for almost 4 minutes, and also see me make a lot of really weird gestures toward the camera. But basically, the one of the biggest pieces of that video is talking about our emphasis on our student organizations. We have 40 interest-based student organizations that are completely student-run on campus. And there's a huge range of focuses that these cover, right? The pictures on the screen here, that's our radio station, WRPN. That's our Ripon College dance team. Down in the bottom corner is Amnesty International, and then our investment club. That's just 4 of the 40. And they rate, just within those 4, that's a huge range of topics and interests that students come together and you know, build a community around. And that's really the whole point of student org, is that you're really passionate and excited about something, and you find other people that are passionate and excited about that same thing, and then you use college resources to do really cool things together in that vein. Student organizations and getting involved in student organizations provide a lot of programming opportunities, so you can really get into the weeds of how to make a full campus event. Lots of really great leadership development comes out of those experiences. You know, managing other people, event planning is a hugely important set of skills that you gain through the process of being involved in a student org. And then you're also just building really great community and connections with folks that you might not interact with just in your residence hall or within your academic program. Obviously, some of the groups are focused on academic emphasis. So we've got a chemistry club, we've got a Society of Physics students, we've got a pre-health club, we've got a pre-law club. Those are all academically focused. But then we also have an ultimate Frisbee club that just gets together and throws a disc around Upper Sadoff when it's nice weather. So really just the whole range of engagement opportunities with peers who care about the same things you care about. And then also, if you find that we don't have a student org that aligns with a thing you're really excited about, it's aggressively easy to start your own student organization. And then once you go through that creation process, you have access to all of those same college resources, and then you can start doing your own cool things around that topic that you and your friends care about. And so student organizations are just, I can't say enough good things about the opportunities to get involved. Maddie, what student orgs were you involved in when you were a student?
Well, I was a part of SALT, but now it's called SAC, so Student Athlete Association. But honestly, I was not a part of a lot of them, but I also did play 3 sports while I was here, so I was a little busy. But didn't you start the lacrosse club?
Not the lacrosse club. Way nerdier than that.
Oh.
The founder of the Ripon College Quidditch Club.
Quidditch, that's what it was, yes.
Harry Potter, if you're not a fan, they play the sport on the brooms. We did the same thing, we just couldn't fly. And actually, we hosted, I think, 3 Quidditch tournaments as a student. And then when I was in my first professional role after graduation, like 2 years later, I got an email from the previous student activities director saying that students were interested in bringing the club back. So again, even if a club hasn't been super active in recent times, you can bring it back and you can re-energize it and do some really cool things around that topic. I was also in the sociology club. I was in the Student Educators Association. And I dabbled a little bit in our next topic, which is student government. So all of our student orgs are kind of governed by a couple of different entities of our student governance process. Ultimately, everything about student governance at Ripon College is student run. As an administrator, I'm not making decisions about how student organizations do things, because those decisions come from your peers on the student senate, and people are held accountable to those expectations by your peers on the student judicial board. And so those are governing bodies of our student orgs. They represent, there's a senator on senate for every single academic class year, as well as 12 representatives from different student organizations. So student orgs, again, are another really great way to get involved in sort of the governance of your Ripon College experience. And then also our Greek organizations each have a senator. And specifically for Student Senate, they're managing the spending and allocation of the student activities fee. And so every new student and every returning student pays $300 a year into that student activities fee. That money is completely controlled by the Student Senate. They decide how much different offices get, they decide how much each organization gets, and then they allocate that out through a one fund process, we call it, where for a one-time expenditure, if you and the group that you're a part of has this really cool opportunity to go to a conference or go see a really cool thing that's aligned with your org, you can request money from Student Senate, and they can help you make those really cool opportunities come to life. And so student government's another really great way to get involved at Ripon, as is our Greek community. So we have 8 Greek organizations at Ripon College. We have 3 national sororities, 3 national fraternities. We have 1 local fraternity that is all men, and we have 1 local fraternity that is co-ed. And so all 8 of these organizations have a philanthropic focus. So they work to raise money and awareness around a certain topic. For the national organizations, that means that all of our Alpha Chi Omegas are focusing on the same thing that all other Alpha Chi Omegas are focusing on. And that's an international focus to raise awareness on a certain topic or issue. And so that's just a really great way to invest your time into something that you care about. In terms of jumping down to the benefits, these are values-based organizations, right? You're joining a Greek organization because it upholds the values that you want to strive for in your own life. And that's a really meaningful and developmental opportunity to grow as a human and grow with a group of people who, again, care about the same thing that you care about. Obviously, our Greek organizations have huge alumni networks, both locally from the students who have graduated from those chapters within the Ripon community. And then for those national organizations, there are members and alumni of those chapters nationally and internationally who are really connected and invested in your experience as a student and far beyond your experience as a student. And then obviously there are going to be those really close-knit bonds. You're spending a lot of time with the members of your chapter if you join a Greek organization. You're building those really strong connections, and you're really cultivating, again, that separate community that you might not interact with in another capacity at Ripon, and growing as a community together. I will jump back to that middle bullet point. We do something called deferred recruitment. So if you have friends who are going to maybe larger institutions, they might already be getting information about how to join an organization because they can join in the fall semester right away when they hit their ground. We wait until the spring. So we wait until you have had 1 full semester on the campus. And we do that for a couple of reasons. One, this is a lifelong commitment that you're making by joining a Greek organization. So we want to give you time to get to know the community and make sure that you have the information you need to make the best choice for you in your life. And also, we just want to make sure that you're settling into your experience being a Ripon College student before you add on the pretty large investment of time and dedication to your Greek organization before you take that on. So if you're starting traditionally in the fall, our primary recruitment period is going to be that first week back spring semester, and there will be a lot of information about that process later in fall semester, and obviously lots of opportunity to get to know our Greek chapters prior to then.
Sarah? Hey, Sarah, I have a quick question.
What's that?
That I'm not sure if either of you would know this. A question is what % of athletes are also part of Greek life?
Oh, that's an excellent question.
It is a good question.
So
I know that half the students are athletes and about 35% are Greek.
That's correct. Yep.
But I don't know athlete breakdown.
I would say, and I am estimating at this point, but if I'm just thinking about our sorority women, so we have just over 100 sorority women right now. And I would say at least a third of them are also athletes.
Sure.
So that's a time management thing, right? Because both
Right.
of the commitments are a lot of your time. Folks make it work all the time. The sororities and fraternities are all very understanding of the fact that you're an athlete. You've got these requirements, and they're going to work with you. Obviously, as a school-sanctioned event, being on a college sports team, you're not going to be penalized for your involvement if you can't make some Greek things happen.
I think it speaks to the type of students we have, is that many students will get involved with many things. So
100%.
part of Greek, being part of something in fine arts, theater, athletics, etc. I have more questions that I want to quick tackle these before Maddie goes on. Is there a fee to be part of a fraternity sorority?
There are fees to be part of fraternities and sororities. You pay dues to the organization. Typically speaking, the national organizations are going to be a little more expensive just because they have a more complex dues structure. So for example, all three of the national sororities and national fraternities, the Sigma Chi chapter at Ripon doesn't live in a fraternity house. All of our Greek organizations live on campus in residence halls, but they pay the same amount for their dues as a Sigma Chi might at a larger institution where they have a private home they have to pay insurance on and, you know, pay a cook to come in and make their food. And so the dues structure is a little convoluted in that way. What I will say is that throughout fall semester, as we're preparing new students who are interested in Greek life to take on that commitment, financial transparency is a really important part of that recruitment process. And we're going to make sure that you fully understand the financial obligation that you'd be signing on for before you make that commitment to the organization. And I'll say, particularly within the national groups, there are a lot of opportunities for scholarships because they want the full range of student to become their members. And so they want to make sure it's as accessible to everyone as it can be. That's a really great question.
Cool. I have one more related to Greek life, is if you don't join the first year, can you join later in the sophomore year?
You can join anytime. They will happily welcome you into their fold whenever you are ready to join. In fact, we had a senior join a sorority this year. She waited until then because it wasn't the right time for her. And then she had made enough connections with that group of women to really find a kind of home and a meaningful bond there. And that was the right time for her. So whenever it's right for you to join is the right time for you to join. And I'll say that's true for all of these engagement opportunities, right? And I'm speaking for Maddie here as well, but if you don't take advantage of something like this until your junior or senior year because it just doesn't fit with your life, that's okay. That means junior or senior year was the right time to do that for you, and we will get you involved in whatever way we can when it's ready for you.
Wonderful. Maddie, I think it's your turn. No open questions.
All right, Sarah, we'll probably just start with the video right away.
Great.
Perfect.
And this one doesn't have sound, so I can't mess it up.
No. So this is just going to be a quick tour of the WILLMORE Center. Don't mind my tech skills. I just whipped this out the other day. So when you walk in, you'll be approaching the front desk. And the front desk is where you'll scan in before and after your workouts. This is where you check out any type of equipment, boxing gloves, volleyballs, etc. And this is also where you can ask questions to any of the student workers there. So our weight room has dumbbells, squat racks, leg press, medicine balls, cable machines that you see right here. On the right-hand side is all the dumbbells. The left-hand side is all the squat racks. And then here's more of our cable machines. So when you go up to the second floor, on the left-hand side here, you'll see our ellipticals and our bikes and row machine, but then we end up in Studio 216. Studio 216 has WellBeats, which I'll talk about later. Any iPad streaming services that you want, YouTube or anything like that, jump ropes, yoga mats, anything like that. And then I'll talk a little bit later about our instructor-led classes that are offered to you as well. And then on the right-hand side is just our overlook of the Weisky Gymnasium, which is where volleyball and basketball games are performed. And in Studio 214, which is what I like to call the larger studio, we also have WellBeats. And it's also mainly our stationary bike area. So a lot of cycling happens in here in the morning and evenings with instructor-led classes as well. And you don't have to be a part of the classes to use those bicycles. So here's Studio 230, which we call it the small studio. We have free weights, dumbbells, punching bags, mini hurdles, pretty much anything you can think of, aerobic platforms, anything that you need to use. You can use also your body weight in this studio as well. And then here's the rest of our cardio balcony. We have 8 treadmills, 2 stair steppers. We have 4 bikes, 2 row machines, and I believe 8 ellipticals as well. And that's just overlooking the atrium, which I'll talk about a little later. And then here is the Red Hawks Hall of Fame. Hopefully some of you end up here one day. Here is just an overlook of the balcony area for our field house, and then we'll take you down the steps to get to there as well. And then in the field is obviously where our track meets are, but also tennis matches and a lot of actually outdoor sports practice in here in the spring. The field house includes a 200-meter track, 6 lanes around, a 60-meter straightaway, which has 8 lanes, and it also holds basketball courts, volleyball courts, and tennis courts. In the kite gym, which is also called our practice gymnasium, it's NCAA regulated basketball and volleyball court, and it has 6 basketball hoops. And at the front desk, you can check out basketballs and volleyballs if you would like. In the WILLMORE Center, we have 3 classrooms, which are mostly for exercise science majors. And then here is the Elaine Caldwell of Fame, and she was the first women's athletic coach here at Ripon College. And here is what I talked about earlier, the main performance gym, the Weisky Gymnasium. And this is where you'll see any basketball or volleyball games here. And there also are 6 hoops here as well. And the atrium is kind of neat because this is where a lot of students actually study. And the multi-purpose tables on the left-hand side is where a lot of them study or get food from the micro market that's at the front desk. And there is movable furniture for you to socialize with your friends as well.
That's the WILLMORE.
That is the WILLMORE in about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So I talked about a little earlier about instructor-led classes. So that's free to you. We do have, the WILLMORE Center is kind of unique because it's also community members are allowed there as well. You develop really good relationships with the community members if you go there often. But they pay to use the facility and you guys get it for free, and you also get the fitness classes for free. So some of those fitness classes are cycling, yoga. We have 2 yoga classes, 2 cycling classes, a HIIT class, a Pilates class, and a kickboxing class. And I'm looking to implement a couple more things. Another thing that we didn't touch on, because I didn't put it in my video because it's actually drained right now, is the pool. The pool, we have open swim hours that are offered to you guys as well. And if you have a group or an organization that wants to use this pool, you just email me and I'll reserve it for you as long as we can get a lifeguard there. The equipment checked out, I talked about a little bit. Like I said, volleyball, basketballs, tennis rackets, tennis balls, boxing gloves, all of that is free for you to use. All we need is your key card and for you to sign out your name. And another thing to talk about is the public calendar. So you don't have to waste your time coming from tri-dorms. You can actually go online, the WILLMORE Center page, and it will show you exactly what is being used at what time. So if you want to use the Studio 216 to do well beats with your friends, but the track team is in there right now using it for a yoga class, just come in a half hour later and they'll be done. And then the next thing I like to talk about is well beats. So well beats is our virtual fitness class, I guess you can call it. And they offer over 500 varieties of classes. So you type in, you want to do a yoga class that lasts 30 minutes and you get 25 different options for that. So it's pretty unique that way. And the nice thing for you guys is that since you're potential incoming students, if you do want to use that right now, since we are under quarantine, they did give me a password and a login. So if any of you want to utilize that, you are more than welcome to email me. My email's right there, kosterm@ripon.edu. And I can get you set up on that membership for you. And it ends May 31st is when the next extension has been, so.
Maddie, maybe before we leave, you can type your information in the chat button too for students.
For sure.
Yeah, perfect. And I have a question I did answer because I think you did indicate that any class at WILLMORE, students do not pay for those. Those are all included.
Correct. And the nice thing is that we also offer the two of the studios have those well beats in it as well. So, and the smaller studio doesn't usually host any classes, but the two bigger studios do. All right, next page, Sarah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So here's kind of a little bit of a calendar for Campus Rec. Like I talked about earlier, I am the Campus Rec coordinator. I took that job on in the beginning of September this past academic year. So it's been really fun to kind of play with stuff, but we offer anything between volleyball to basketball to bags to badminton to a Mario Kart league to Super Smash Bros. Leagues to billiards, ping pong, anything like that. So it was called intramurals prior to me coming here, but I wanted it to not be just sports related. So I wanted to offer more activities than just athletics and hoping to draw more people and offer way more opportunities for all of you. So as you see on this calendar, I did my first ever hiking trip to Devil's Lake, which is about an hour away. We had around 40 people that participated in that event. And it was awesome. It was a beautiful day. The next slide will show you some pictures from that as well. But I want to do more activities, one-day events like that. So that's the trips aspect. Looking to potentially do skiing in the winter next year and Badger Sports Park in the spring, which if you're not local, you don't really know, but it's go-karts, mini golf, anything like that, laser tag, that type of stuff.
Maddie, would there be a cost, that trip you took to Devil's Lake or other things, would there be a cost?
It depends on what trip it is. I believe the skiing trip we would charge but it would be like $20 just to maybe even cover the lift fee. But the Devil's Lake trip, we did not make anybody pay anything, and we actually supplied cousin subs for people as well.
Cool.
Campus Rec is split up into 4 seasons. So the first season obviously is more drawn to fall events. So here you see kickball, sand volleyball, flag football, anything that we can do to be outside in Wisconsin during this time, we will take on. But we also do have a rain location. So sand volleyball, we played in the field house when it was a rainy day. So we are always looking to do that type of stuff. But also we are looking to work around your schedule, because I know people that are busy during the day and even in the evening. So we don't usually start any of our events till like 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. And all our like day events are on weekends so that people can participate in them. And if you are looking to sign up for intramurals, just go to Campus Rec, go to imleagues.com, and it will give you all the information. You need to just search for Ripon College, sign up there. So
can they do that now, Maddie?
Yeah, you can do that now.
Before the school starts? Okay.
Yeah, and as long as you have your campus email, you want to use your campus email so that you're still getting emails from me and IM Leagues during that time.
So I'm thinking that students won't have their emails until orientation.
So
that's correct. Yep.
Yeah, during
So
summer,
after June.
sign up for that.
Great. I want to remind our attendees too, feel free to ask questions or make comments as we're going through.
So yeah, and here is just kind of a quick, I talked about flag football, sand volleyball, Super Smash Bros. All that stuff is just kind of a little, and also I like to note that I am in this picture down here in the center. That is me winning championship this past year for basketball. So, with our staff team. So even staff can participate, or faculty. So yeah, that's kind of what I have. But I had a question for you guys, and how I just talked about it, but
use the chat button. Sorry.
How many seasons is there in Campus Rec?
Oh, I got answers already. They're correct.
Look at that.
Wait, hold on now. The first person, I have Victoria Inc. has the answer 4.
And then I actually have another question prior to the WILLMORE Center.
Let me write down Victoria.
No problem.
Okay, they're quick on it. Okay, next question again.
How
use
many
the chat.
studios have well beats in it?
Oops, I got to see who's got it in here. Glory. Nope. Sorry, I'm looking for the right answer. Hannah Brockman has 2.
Yep.
All right. And Victoria, you might have been in there quicker, but you just won. So I gotta limit, you know. Victoria and Hannah in the chat button, if you would please put in your shirt size. I will be sending out something to you, Ripon gear, in the next week or two, okay? All right.
Nice.
And
Right on.
then,
Thanks, Maddie.
yeah.
No problem.
All right. So
Okay, I got all that. Yep.
Awesome. Quick back to me. Another really great thing that comes out of student activities and orientation, or SAO as we call it, is our community service program. We've done a lot of really great work this year, sort of re-energizing our community service offerings. One of the Ripon College hall directors is actually the community service coordinator. So this is all thanks to RHD Courtney. And really, we've laid some really great foundation that we're looking to build off of into the next year. So we haven't done a ton of service trips. You can see in the top corner there, that's a trip to a local wildlife preserve called the Ripon Marsh, if you're local. During our Welcome Week programming last August, Courtney ran a service trip to the marsh to just do some mulching, right? They just helped out and did some outdoor yard work, and had a great time doing it. Obviously, there's a lot of local areas that are always looking for volunteers. We've got a food pantry here in town. There's a Humane Society in Green Lake. There are a couple of animal, like private animal fostering companies that are local. And so there's just good opportunities to get connected. Excuse me. And Courtney is, you know, already connected to those folks and can make those one-to-one introductions to get you connected to the area that is meaningful to you from a service perspective. We also host at least 2 blood drives every semester. And so that they just camp out in a big hall on campus, and you can go and sign up in advance or walk in and donate blood. We have a really great resource called Rally's Closet. This is sort of a professional clothing checkout space, right? So if you've got an internship interview or an on-campus job interview coming up and you want to look fresh for that, but you don't really have the professional clothes on campus that you need, you can go to Rally's Closet when it's open, and Courtney will have all of the clothes, and you can see a picture of an outfit that she put together right up there in the corner. She'll have all of the clothes arranged by size and style, and so you can sort of pick out what you feel is going to make you present yourself in the best way for that professional interview or opportunity. And then you can just leave with those clothes and then come back and bring them back clean, and it's all set to go. And so that's entirely free for students to utilize. And we just have so many great outfits and looks up there for you all to feel your best. Courtney's done some really excellent work with collection volunteer moments. So maybe you don't feel like you have the time in your schedule to go and spend 4 hours laying mulch at Ripon Marsh, but you have a bag full of plastic bags that is just your existence following you around wherever you go. Courtney collected more than 600 campus plastic bags from the campus community this year, and she just put a bin out in a bunch of, you know, high traffic areas, and folks brought their plastic bags, and then she was able to donate those to our local grocery store, which reuses them, as well as a couple of
Thrift stores, maybe?
Yep, I think she went to Goodwill. I think she went to Traded Treasures downtown. The food pantry downtown is connected to Traded Treasures. So we're just getting those to places that need them more than, you know, closet building up dust, right? And then also there's a ton of craft projects that are kind of service oriented. So you might have seen that when partnering with an animal shelter, you'll sit down really quick, and in 15 minutes you'll make a little dog toy. Things like that are part of what community service is about here, because we want it to be accessible to you. Not everybody's got the time to do a big service trip or an alternative spring break where you're going and partnering with Habitat for Humanity and building a house. If that's exciting for you, let's talk, because that could be a really cool opportunity that we can make happen. But we also want you to feel like you can do community service in a way that's 15 minutes of your time, or bringing plastic bags to a central location on campus. So a full range of opportunities there. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about with student activities and orientation is our break transportation. So we know that Ripon, Wisconsin is not always the easiest place to get to if you don't live close by already. And so for those of you who are going to be planning on relying on airports to get to and from campus, we provide shuttles to the Appleton Airport, Milwaukee Airport, and the Chicago airports right around all of our major break periods. So there will be in late September an email going out to all students that says, if you need a shuttle to an airport to leave for fall break, you have to sign up by this day and tell us where you're going. And then for a small fee on a specific day and time, we will bring you to the airport and then we will pick you up on the other end of fall break and get you back to campus if that's what you need. Same thing for our longer winter break over the January month. And then same thing for spring break in March. So again, that's just because we know it's not always the easiest thing. And particularly if you're not bringing a car to campus, you got to find a way to get to those places. And we want to make sure we're helping with that. The other thing I'll talk about in terms of transportation that isn't on here, and in that same vein, we love eating on campus and the community nature of that process, but ultimately, sometimes you want stuff that you can't necessarily get from our dining service. And there isn't a grocery store that's conveniently walkable. There used to be, but unfortunately it closed down. So right after it closed down, my office started offering shuttle service to a grocery store still in town that's a little further away, not totally walkable, right? And so things like that, we're always keeping our pulse on, keeping our fingers on the pulse of what students need and how we can best address those needs from our office.
Sarah, how about a question? I've got a couple here too, but one thing I was wondering, on a weekend, let's say that someone is from Milwaukee and wants to get home, are students able to connect with other people who might be going home to Milwaukee on just a random weekend?
Yeah, so ultimately that's one of the benefits of how small the Ripon community is, where you're going to learn which of your community members are also from an area nearby. You're going to be able to build those connections on your own. Right now, we don't currently have anything that's designed as sort of a ride board, but that's totally something that if there's enough interest, we could make happen. I'd also say your class of 2024 has a Facebook page already, and hopefully you're connected to that. Keep using it, right? There's no harm in sustaining that beyond your recruitment period and utilizing that to communicate with your peers who have other resources that you don't have once you get to campus.
Right. I had a couple questions in the Q&A. One is there a Catholic church nearby or any services on campus? Absolutely. I know there are, so go ahead and talk about that.
We have, there are definitely 2 Catholic churches here in Ripon proper. There might even be 3 if I'm remembering my registry correctly. And actually, a really great service that you'll be getting here in the next couple of weeks, pardon my page turning. But this is last year, so it's not going to look totally like this, but we're going to create a digital copy of our program book for summer orientation. And I'll talk a little bit about what summer orientation is going to look like for you shortly. But ultimately, within this book, we want to make sure that you know what's available for you in the Ripon community. Right here in the book, it's hard to see, but that's a list of churches in town. And so you can then, and it's addresses, phone numbers, how to get there. It's not just Christian religion. So if you're of a different denomination or religious practice, we're trying to make sure we're accommodating those as well. And you can build those connections once you get here. I'll also say that during our traditional Welcome Week program, we partner with the community in a really cool way for what will be the 26th this year, Ripon Area Clergy Potluck. So we build connections with a bunch of different religious organizations in the nearby area. And we invite them to come to campus, bring food with them. And I'm talking so much church lady food. You've never seen that many potato salads in your life. And it's a delicious moment. It's a crowd favorite. This past year, the first 5 people in line were seniors, and they were outside the door an hour before it started. Because this is just such a classic Ripon moment. And so the clergy potluck is a really great way to in person build some of those connections with religious communities in the area.
And I believe, do we still do like a church crawl where certain students will go visit churches together?
I believe that our Campus Christian Fellow.
Okay, did they set that up?
So that CCF is the organization. It's a student organization on campus. They do a lot of just moments, just building fellowship amongst
Sure.
religious students. But then I believe they also sponsor, let's go out in the community and find a space that works best for you.
I have a couple of questions. One is, if I have a car and can take people to the Chicago airport, can I get a job doing that?
Short answer to the end of your question is yes. If you become a college approved driver, and basically that just means we're going to check your driving record and make sure you're legally safe and all of those things, I will potentially employ you as a shuttle driver. You would not be using your own vehicle for that, just for liability purposes, but we will get you hooked up with a campus vehicle. And then, yeah, you would get paid to drive people to O'Hare and come back. It's
Does it have to be
pretty easy.
19? Is it 19, Sarah, to start driving for us or not?
It might be.
I feel like it is for approved drivers, but
It might
again,
be 19. So,
yes.
back
Okay.
pocket that, right?
Yep. I have more questions. Wanted to ask more information about the Queer Straight Alliance, particularly about what they do in the community and how active the organization is.
That's a beautiful question. And this semester is not a good example because certain things that they would normally have really made a great showing of, like Day of Science, and LGBTQ History Month, those things happened in April, and that was
Right.
time when we weren't here to engage in that programming. But I will also say that they just passed on their election information. So a lot of groups elect new officers toward the end of the year. And their new officers is a great bunch of humans and are really excited, and also are kind of on the younger spectrum of the college age. So it's not just a bunch of scary seniors. The president's gonna be a sophomore next year. And she's phenomenal. She works for me in the student activities office. She's gonna be an RA. And so she's gonna bring a lot of really great energy. And I'll also, new students bring all sorts of energy to student org. So again, even if you find one that really isn't doing a lot, but you have a lot of energy and excitement about that, then that's what's gonna spur it forward.
Yep. I have a question that maybe perhaps John, who's in the background, might be able to answer. Is the class of 2024 getting together any other social media platforms other than Facebook? John, if you're listening, if you're able to, okay.
Hey, sorry, I was away in my kitchen for a moment.
That's okay.
Yeah, so right now the class of 2024 page is a great meeting page to connect with other classmates. But I know on the class of page, a lot of students are sharing Snapchat, Instagram, ways to connect with one another. But specifically, the Office of Admission doesn't host any other pages because we want you guys to build those in a natural way. So we don't want to interfere too much. So join the class of 2024 page if you're eligible to, and definitely start connecting that way.
Great, thanks, John. And then is there a limit on how many jobs on campus you can have? Which I know the answer is no. You can work up to 20 hours. I'm just nodding, and we're all in agreement that you can have more than one job, but 20 hours is the maximum that you may work on a campus job combined.
Yeah, and that's by design, right? There are some jobs, the employees who work for me typically have between 5 and 8 hours per week. But there are some jobs that are an hour or two a week. You build up a bunch of those and you want a bunch of different opportunities to connect to different campus areas. That's awesome. Maddie has so many campus employees. How many students work for you?
I have 45 that work for the front desk, and I have about 20 that work for Campus Rec, 3 that are just specifically concessions people, and 10 lifeguards.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
So when you're looking after summer orientation, you'll be receiving information on Handshake. You can look at jobs there, again, late this summer or when you come onto campus. There's lots of things offered. And again, they might just be an hour or two, but that's certainly okay and can fit in your schedule. The nice thing about work study jobs is that we know you're a student And if something comes up, we're not going to make a big deal if you can't make a shift or something. So, but we employed students in the admission office, and many of them, they might work at the library, they might work for Sarah, they might work for Maddie, and multiple things. So lifeguarding, is this an in-demand job?
So we were really in demand at the beginning of the school year. And then I think I only had like 3 people that were working for me right away. And then a ton applied for first years that applied. So I have a ton of first years working for me, but I'm always looking for first years to come in to replace the seniors that I've lost.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're ever wanting a job, please apply, because I definitely can use people.
Good. We have about 5 or 7, 8 minutes
That's
left,
great.
you guys. So Sarah.
I'm gonna do my trivia question.
Yes, I'm ready. Okay,
Awesome.
Chat button. Please
Chat
use
button.
the chat.
Here we go. How many Greek organizations do we have?
If you already won, don't do it again. Okay. Wait. Hold on, everybody. I think we have 8, right?
We have 8. Hannah already won, so Libby Campbell, I think, is our winner.
You see Libby? I see Libby on there too.
Great. For those of you who answered 40, I said Greek organizations, not organizations. I tricked you, but good
I have a
listening.
hard time trying to think, what am I looking for? Okay, did you have one more question, Sarah? Again, if you already won this afternoon, please don't play again.
I mean, you can play.
Well, yeah.
Pride thing. You're not going to win. What's the name of our professional clothes checkout service?
Good one.
This one's going to take a little longer because you got to
Yes, it
type.
is. I got to think. Oh, I got one.
Yay!
Jonah Lazo, I believe that is, and that's Rally's Closet.
That is Rally's Closet.
Oh, very good. Thanks for playing, you guys.
I appreciate it.
I have 2 things before I forget. I want to know Jonah's and Libby's sizes, please. If you can put that in the chat, or the Q&A is fine too. Margaret Searles, you got the answer, but you were in the wrong format. glad you're here with us. And then Hannah's asking, what kind of jobs can first years do? You guys want to give some other examples?
Sure. So as Jill said, obviously all 3 of our offices employ students. Dining service employs students. You can work for the library. You can work for the mail center. Yeah, you can be a parking attendant and go ticket people who
That one's fun.
park illegally. After your first semester, you're eligible to apply to be a resident assistant with Residence Life. Gosh, what else? So much work in Maddie's area.
The student athlete part, I know as well. Like they do SID jobs, kind of filming games and stuff like that, and doing stats.
You can, if you're above 5 feet 10 inches tall.
Yes, there you go.
You rally.
You can be Rally. How great
Yes.
is that? I'm only 5'8", or I would totally do it.
Right. Rally is always a job that they need someone to be the mascot.
Yeah.
The question is, what are the best paying jobs? If I'm not mistaken, most are minimum wage. What?
We all pay the same.
Yeah. But am I right? I believe, does Sodexo pay a little bit more?
They might.
Sodexo does, and if you're certified for lifeguarding,
Lifeguard?
that's probably the best paying job on
And
campus.
even now I want to question myself. Tutoring, is that a different pay or no?
I thought
I'm
two
not
were
sure.
the same.
Well,
But-
and typically tutoring you wouldn't be until you were older anyways, or at least past a semester. And someone just asked me what Sodexo is. That is what our current food services, the company that runs food services.
Yep.
So I always tell kids when you're coming into Ripon with a thought and looking at jobs, food services, that might be working in the spot restaurant. It might be working in the commons themselves or in the kitchen. Those are always they need people. So if you're willing to do that, then you can find something. But if you told me, oh, I'm not going to do any food service jobs, that's gross, then that's limiting what jobs are available. So if you're open to any job, I think you can find something. And again, it might just be a couple hours a week, but it's something to get experience with, get a few bucks in your pocket. Students can choose to have that money go in their pocket as a pay, or they can also have money earned go toward their tuition bills as well.
I'll also add, Jill, there are some academic departments that employ
Yes.
students. So
Yes.
I know that when I was a student, I worked for the theater department and I
Yep.
bid sets
Yep.
for money, which was great.
Yep.
Where I know that the music department employs people, art
Yep.
department has
The
a
gallery.
guards
Yes.
for.
Yes.
Um, the lab science
Mm-hmm.
employ students to sort of
Yep.
manage the labs and keep them
Financial aid, the advancement office. There's a lot of different
tons
office
of-
jobs. Yep. So be open, be looking at mail center. I've seen that
Yep.
posted where she needs help in the mail center. So again, I think your odds, if you're willing, you can find something. So question about getting off-campus jobs. I can take that as well, that of course students do go off campus for employment. I believe what I would say is that our Ripon community is very willing to hire college students. So I know plenty of kids that get jobs at the coffee shop, at Roadhouse Pizza, the movie theater, you name it. And many of those places are within walking distance, so that's really easy. And sorry, Sarah, what were you going to say about it?
Knuth's Brewing
Knuth? Yep.
is a restaurant downtown that always has college students
Yep.
working.
Yep. So I'm going to give everybody one more sec for questions before we have to end this session. So if
Jill,
anybody,
can I hop in with orientation info really quick?
go for it. Yes.
You'll get more of this kind of content throughout your orientation experience. Obviously, because of COVID things, that's going to look different than we would have loved to be able to facilitate for you. Within the beginning part of June, you're going to receive a link to a virtual orientation platform. And basically, that's going to walk you through a lot of the resources that campus has. And once you complete that content, you'll be able to meet up with your academic advisor in a virtual format, talk about your academic goals and aspirations, and then get registered for fall classes. And then we'll bring you back in August, hopefully in person, to do a more robust welcome week where we're creating those in-person moments that we would like to facilitate with you in June.
2 questions I just want you to answer. Is there any cost for students to do summer orientation?
That hasn't been determined yet because of
Okay.
that we are
Okay.
in. Typically, the answer would be yes.
Okay. That there is a fee?
Typically, yes, but that
Okay.
we're changing
Okay.
that hasn't been
And
decided.
then do you know, Sarah, if a student's already registered for what was summer orientation, will they need to re-register?
No, we're gonna just transfer that all the way over so it's as easy
Okay.
as
So
possible.
don't worry about if you've registered or didn't register. What you find in June from Sarah is what you'll need to go forward with, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And so, yeah, the question is that it's still the same 2 days in June. Are we, again, the format, will there be like a specific day or dates that students will have to do orientation things?
So ideally speaking, pending all sorts of things that
Yes.
unfortunately are out of our control, if you complete that orientation platform by a certain date, and that's going to be determined by when we're able to send it out. So I'm not going to put one right now, but if you get that done in that priority window, you'll be assigned an appointment to meet with your academic advisor over that 2-day period that we were initially going to be hosting the program. If you don't complete it by that priority time, no worries. We're still going to get meeting with an advisor and registering for classes. It'll just be after the traditional orientation program would have been.
Okay. Okay. Good. I hope that answers everyone's questions. Again, stay tuned. You won't miss information. We'll make sure you all receive it. Admission counselors will be reaching out to down the road. I'm sure if you have any questions to ask us directly, but again, look for information coming forth from Sarah. With that, I want to say thank you to Maddie and Sarah both for joining us today. I appreciate it. Good information to share. We do still have one more session like this. That's a student panel on Friday at 3 p.m. And if you haven't signed up yet, you still may register, but that would be one more chance to hear from some of our current students. We'll have 4 or 5 students that can talk about their experiences and again, answer your questions. So look for that. Otherwise, stay well. And we look forward to seeing you all in the near future.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.